Here I go, here I go, here I go. Yeah, here I go, here I go, here I go.
Before we get into today's episode of the pod, you guys have to subscribe because I'm looking at you and you're not subscribed to the channel yet. And you have to hit the notification bell because you're not going to know when I post if you don't have notifications when I post. Make sure to like the video, you guys, so I know you guys are enjoying these episodes. Make sure to follow my social medias. I will pop them on the screen so you can stay up to date with everything to do with this podcast. And then don't forget to check out the Spotify version. The link will be in the description for that as well. Finally, I am a sports writer, so make sure to check out the take.sport.blog so you can read the best sports articles ever. You will not regret clicking that link, so make sure to click that link below. But let's go ahead and get into today's pod, you guys. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Take Podcast. I am your host, Jackson Burleson, of course. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about, first of all, my Dallas Cowboys, but we'll get into other NFL offseason stuff later on in this episode. But Ezekiel Elliott has been cut by the Dallas Cowboys, an organization that drafted Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott came into the league with so much promise. You know, he was starting off his rookie campaign, leading the league in rushing. Was a very big piece into having the Cowboys be the number one seed in the NFC that year, with the best record in the NFL at 14-2. And, you know, as a Cowboys fan, it is hard to see Ezekiel Elliott leave because, number one, the man was the identity of the Cowboys. He literally represented the Stars so well with the heart, intensity, the passion he brought on the field. And he was a touchdown machine, you guys. I mean, last season, he had 12 touchdowns. Now, he may have not reached to 1,000 yards rushing, but he had 12 touchdowns, and he was still very effective in the red zone. So, in my opinion, I think releasing Ezekiel Elliott is a bad move. Now, the Cowboys think it's a good move because they're not going to have to pay him $14.5 million for this upcoming season, which does take a little bit off the cap for them. But the Cowboys, they have been restructuring a lot of players. They've restructured Dak Prescott's contract. They've restructured Zach Martin's contract. They've restructured Michael Gallup's contract. They just restructured DeMarcus Lawrence's contract. So they have a lot of dudes, and along with Tyron Smith as well. They've reconstructed all of those guys' contracts who are getting up there in age and are not getting any younger, which makes sense. But we were $30 million over the cap, and now we sit $9.5 million with cap space right now. So, to be honest, doing all those reconstructions is not a lot for what we're really doing and what we need. We need a star receiver, and we're not going to be able to pay a guy enough staying over the cap. That's just not going to happen. It's very unrealistic. I don't know how we're going to get better with only $9 million in cap space. It's not enough. It's not enough to even get a guy like Odell Beckham Jr. It's not. He will want more money than that. I guarantee it. He's got a big ego. He's a Super Bowl champ. He will really bring in great experience, and he's still a good receiver. So Odell will want more money, and he'll want the little long-term security blanket because of his injury history. That is what Odell Beckham Jr. is going to want, and that is what the Cowboys cannot give him. We can't give him $15 million a year. We cannot give him $20 million a year. That is why we reconstructed all these guys' contracts, because we can't pay him enough, which is why Ezekiel Elliott is no longer a part of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, one thing I do not want to see happen is Ezekiel Elliott go to a team in the NFC East, and it's looking like he possibly could go to the Eagles. Ezekiel Elliott going to the Eagles is a very possible destination because Miles Sanders is a Carolina Panther, and the Eagles need a running back. They have a vacant spot at running back. And speaking of Miles Sanders, you guys, him on the Panthers, will he be worse on the Panthers? These last two seasons for Miles Sanders, he rushed for 754 yards and 0 touchdowns in 2022. And in 2023, this past season, he rushed for 1,269 yards and 11 touchdowns. So a drastic improvement there and a lack of inconsistency. It's very inconsistent, those numbers are. So if you're looking at those numbers, you have to say, is Miles Sanders going to have the same impact without the best offensive line in the NFL? And I say absolutely not. The Carolina Panthers are just looking for that replacement for Christian McCaffrey because that's a very hard blow. Christian McCaffrey is a very difficult running back to replace because not a lot of guys can affect the passing game like McCaffrey does. Miles Sanders is not a trash running back, but it's going to be interesting to see if he plays to the level that he did this past year. Now, the AFC East is going to be a very interesting division this coming season. So you got the Dolphins with Jalen Ramsey. They still got Xavier Howard on that side of the ball. And they also have Bradley Chubb. So that defense, we'll see if it comes together. On paper, they have the best defense in the AFC East. And they have a very good chance of winning that division. Now, if you're looking at the offensive side of the ball, that's pretty obvious. But what Jalen Ramsey brings is a very high football IQ. He is a former champion, so he brings in experience, and he knows how to get it done. He knows how to win a Super Bowl. And you bring in great leadership. Jalen Ramsey is an unbelievable leader. He will be pushing guys to go their hardest, to not give up on the play, to keep going. He is going to be that guy for that Dolphins defense that is going to have to lead them and show guys like Bradley Chubb how to win. Because he's played with Aaron Donald before, and he can kind of, instill that same mentality that he had kind of into Bradley Chubb, kind of mentor him a little bit. I think Jalen Ramsey is a very good pickup, not just for on the field, but for the locker room. He'll make the locker room a lot better. He'll make the defense more cordial. Just teamwork will be there when Jalen Ramsey, and I love Jalen Ramsey's game. But this division, man, it is so tough. The Bills are still going to be very good with Josh Allen. The Patriots are very interesting because they have picked up some guys. I mean, they picked up Juju Smith-Schuster, and they picked up James Robinson, who is a former running back for the New York Jets. But remember, in James Robinson's rookie season, he had a 1,000-yard season with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Robinson has a chance to be the catalyst for the New England Patriots. Now, which way are they going to go running back wise? They still have Damian Harris, and they still have Ramondre Stevenson. So that'll be an interesting running back battle. I could see a lot of those running backs getting touches. A lot of the time's going to be split up. I mean, I just hate it when other running backs get split time, especially for fantasy, because when it comes to fantasy guys, I mean, you don't want a running back that's, splitting carries, especially with two other guys. But a 3 running back system, that could very well work. But Mac Jones, this is a big season for him. If he doesn't perform up to the level of standard that Bill Belichick wants him to be performing at, he could very well be on his way out. The Patriots could very well look for a new quarterback. Simple as that. Mac Jones has to make the playoffs, and he has to win a game in the playoffs, unless he's going to be done. I mean, I get it. Mac Jones had an off year last year, but that was a lot to do with Matt Patricia and his terrible play calling, and the coaching staff not really trusting Mac Jones. The coaching staff has to trust Mac Jones if they want any chance of winning games. You can't have a quarterback on the field that you don't trust. That just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't really understand why they didn't trust him. Mac Jones is not a bad quarterback. He has very high football IQ. He makes the right reads. But the problem is Mac Jones got so frustrated with the play calling that it really got his head out of the game. He should be worried about the defense, what coverages they're throwing at him. He shouldn't be worried about, getting upset about the play calling. Just let Mac Jones have a little more control of the offense. Let him kind of decide some of the plays. Now, I get it. Bill Belichick, he's stuck in his ways. He wants to have control, but you got to let Mac Jones kind of be free a little bit. Let him be Mac Jones. Let him be himself on that football field, and I guarantee you the Patriots will have success. They will have success, or they're going to be looking for a new quarterback. Now, there's a couple teams still, looking for that quarterback. The 49ers are still trying to figure out who's the guy. Now, Brock Purdy and Trey Lance, they are not healthy at the moment. There's a question that if they're even going to start the season for the 49ers. So the 49ers have been very open to having a new guy. And with Jimmy Garoppolo going to the Las Vegas Raiders, that opens the door for them to get a new quarterback. And Lamar Jackson could very well see himself in San Francisco. That would be insane. If the San Francisco 49ers got Lamar Jackson, they would win the Super Bowl. Seriously. Imagine that offense. Holy cow, dude. Oh my. Oh my. Like, wow. That Lamar Jackson in a San Francisco 49ers uniform, you have got to be kidding me. That would literally be broken. That's like drafting a fantasy team in Madden. That's literally I mean, but Lamar Jackson, he's now allowed to talk to other teams. And you can say this. Lamar Jackson is going to go somewhere he can win a Super Bowl right away. That is going to be his plan. He's not going to go to a team that's trash, can't win, and he's not going to be a Baltimore Raven, guys. Lamar Jackson, he's going to be out. I just don't know why the Ravens haven't paid him yet. Pay him. Lamar Jackson, he does everything for that Ravens team. He leads the team in rushing. He leads the team in passing. He leads the team in passing touchdowns and rushing touchdowns. He does everything for that offense. And the Ravens have no receivers for him to throw the ball to besides tight end Mark Andrews. That is sad. They have given him no help whatsoever. Nothing. If I was Lamar Jackson, I would want to leave because the Ravens are trash. They're trash. If the Ravens never had Lamar Jackson, they wouldn't even been in the position to make the playoffs. They would be one of the worst teams in the NFL. They are not built to win at all. The only reason they have some sense of hope is because of number 8. They're just mistreating this guy. If the Ravens don't pay this man, they're going to be looking at this 5 years down the line, and they're going to be like, why didn't we sign him? Why didn't we give him the money he wanted? That is going to be a huge loss. That is going to set the Ravens back 5 years at least. At least. And this team is completely built around Lamar Jackson. This is a very run-heavy team. And if they just let him go, they're going to have to completely change the scheme of things with a new quarterback. They're going to have to completely revamp this offense. And do the Ravens really want to do that? I don't think so. But if they let this guy go, that is exactly what they're telling him. We want a new style of offense. You've been great for us, but we have to move on. That's what the Ravens are going to be telling him. It's just, man, it's just stupid. Like, it's honestly stupid that he hasn't been signed yet. I can't believe it. And if Lamar Jackson is on the Ravens and hasn't found a home by training camp, Lamar Jackson ain't showing up to training camp. He's going to be holding out till he gets a new contract or a new team. Simple as that for Lamar Jackson. Now, a quarterback that is looking for a new team and has said he wants to play for that team is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has stated he wants to play for the New York Jets. He wants to play for the New York Jets. And it's looking very possible because the New York Jets signed Allen Lazard to a $44 million deal for 4 years, who was one of Aaron Rodgers' favorite targets last season in Green Bay. And then they've been talking to Odell Beckham Jr. to come play for the Jets, who Aaron Rodgers really wants to play with. So if they do those things, a trade could very well happen between the Packers and the Jets. That the Jets, they will get him. Aaron Rodgers is going to be in New York. That is going to happen. The Packers don't want him. Aaron doesn't want to be there. He's very upset with the Green Bay Packers organization because they're just kind of throwing him off, or they can't tell him to his face, we don't want you. We think Jordan Love's the guy. Now, I think Jordan Love is ready. He has been waiting his time, and during the season, he looked so ready to win. I think with Jordan Love as quarterback, the Packers can be a playoff team. And they just need to move on. Aaron Rodgers was in the same position when Brett Favre was trying to get kicked out of the door by the Packers. He was the young guy sitting in the backup position, ready to take over the job any minute now. And now Aaron is experiencing the exact same thing, and he is getting salty about it. It's, he did the same thing. Just put yourself in Brett Favre's shoes for a second, Aaron, and understand that you were there in the beginning of your career as Jordan Love is right now. So, but with Aaron Rodgers on the Jets, they're a Super Bowl contender right away, which is why the AFC East is very interesting because there'll be Aaron Rodgers, Mac Jones, Tua Tagovailoa. I think 3 Super Bowl contenders in that division. And the Patriots are no pushovers. So that is going to be the most competitive division in all of football. Now, the Jets had the 4th ranked defense in the NFL last year. And Sauce Gardner, he is going to be even better than he was last year. They got an elite pass rush. I mean, they are a Super Bowl defense. And if you put Aaron Rodgers on that team, it's going to be hard to beat that. It's going to be really hard to beat that team. And they have Breece Hall, who is returning from injury, who is the rookie sensation who played 7 games and rushed for 463 yards and 4 touchdowns. He tore his ACL, so we will see if he's going to be the same player, but he was on track to have a monster season until he got injured. And they still have a bunch of young receivers. But is it the thing is Aaron Rodgers going to be able to handle another year with a new receiving core? Because last year when he was on the Packers, he didn't play quite particularly well with a new receiving core. That was the dilemma with Aaron Rodgers last year, because he had a rookie receiver in Christian Watson who turned out to be an elite player. But now he's got a lot of other guys like Garrett Wilson. He is, there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to have to get used to Aaron, but are also young on the Jets. So can Aaron Rodgers win with a young receiving core? That is going to be the question, because last year you saw Aaron Rodgers play with a young receiving core, and he didn't even make the playoffs. So will the Jets have that same issue when he is there? That'll be very interesting to see how that kind of winds up. And what's going to happen with Zach Wilson? Zach Wilson is going to be in Aaron Rodgers' shadow. Supposedly, he was supposed to be the guy, but now he's not going to be. Now, Zach Wilson said he's going to make whoever's life very difficult in front of him. So we'll see how Zach Wilson responds. I don't really expect anything from him. Zach Wilson just doesn't make good decisions with the football. He's careless. He doesn't read the defense as well. I mean, I don't really see. I think Zach Wilson is a bust. He is not going to be a starter in this league, and he won't be around very much longer. He's not. No way. I think the Jets will make the playoffs next year just because they won 7 games without an elite quarterback. But that defense is going to be very helpful. Aaron Rodgers, I really would like to see him go to the Jets. That's going to be very interesting. But I could very well see him in a Packers uniform, though. Still. I mean, nothing is official yet. Nothing. Nothing is set in stone at this very given moment. I give it a 85% chance that Aaron Rodgers will be a New York Jet. But that 15% is still very much in the air. Certain things have to happen. Trades have to be done. Certain things have to fall in place before Aaron Rodgers becomes a New York Jet. It's going to be very interesting. And another team in New York that added a piece for quarterback Daniel Jones is Darren Waller is now officially a New York Giant. The Giants traded a 3rd-round pick with the Raiders to get him. Now, Darren Waller, he is one of the best tight ends in the NFL, and he is going to be a go-to target for Daniel Jones, along with Darius Slayton, all these other young receivers that the Giants do have. I think the Giants are going to be even better than they were adding this guy. But can Darren Waller stay healthy? That is going to be the question. Can Darren Waller stay healthy? He missed a lot of games last year. He missed a lot of games with hamstring injuries. I mean, he just wasn't able to stay on the field. He was not able to stay on the field at all. I mean, Darren Waller missed half the season. And, you know, in 2 seasons in his 7-year career, he's missed half the season. He's been battling injuries. He has a long injury history. So if he can stay healthy, the Giants have a very legit shot of winning the NFC East. But without Darren Waller, they're going to be about at the same spot they were last year, wild card team, not a division champion. But I'm looking forward to seeing what unfolds with this Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. This has been another episode of the Take Podcast. I am your host, Jackson Burleson, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, share this with all your friends, guys. And what is going on in March Madness, you guys? Stay tuned for the next podcast. March Madness is going to be on my mind then. So stay tuned. And also, follow me on TikTok. Make sure to kind of look out for, I'm going to be doing some kind of Sports Center-like TikTok lives. So kind of keep an eye on those. They're going to be about 15 minutes long daily. I'm not sure what time they're going to be at yet, but just kind of keep an eye out for those. And go follow my TikTok, my personal TikTok. I'll go ahead and pop it on the screen. It's with my other social medias. It's going to be on my personal TikTok account. Just so you know when I go live on TikTok, and so you can kind of keep up with the sports world. But I'm your host, Jackson Burleson, once again, and you guys have a great rest of your day.
Yeah. Talk to me, baby. Talk to me nice. I'm from another world, baby, yeah. Right way paradise. They think I'm way too cold, cause I put my heart up on ice.